Y'all, I'm just going to jump right into it, bro. WWE is dead. It's as simple as that. I've been saying this since early parts of this year, but it's now coming to fruition in full circle, and we're all seeing it. We should be able to collectively, as an audience, understand that this product is dying. If not, it's already dead. The viewership is heavily declining for a reason. Since the debut of Raw on Netflix, they've lost over 3.5 or however many viewers it is, 3.2 million plus viewers have walked away globally. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody gives a crap about this show. It's as simple as that. Because the fact is, nothing matters in this company that has happened this year. And we're going to get to that in a second because this Raw episode, this Raw is garbage. You know what I'm saying? It's not the worst episode I've seen because there were some things that I thought were decent, but like 70% of this show I would say was either bad, mid, or just simply skippable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's as simple as that. That's what Raw and SmackDown are every week. If you only watch the PLEs this year, you know this line if you've been watching. If you only watch the PLEs this year, you only watch the YouTube segments for Cena and Roman this year, you will have missed nothing. You've missed nothing this year. You don't need to watch any Raw or SmackDown that has dropped the entire year. You don't need to. And that is why, since the early parts of this year, like I've been telling you guys, I normally shut off Raw or SmackDown an hour plus in advance because the shows are unwatchable. Triple H, Triple Fraud, books for shock factor over quality. He books for headlines and does cheap pop booking, as I call it, rather than actually booking good stuff long term. John Cena is in his final year and now he's feuding with Brock Lesnar for zero reason at all. I don't give a crap if Cena wanted it, if The Rock wanted it, if Triple H wanted it. It's bad TV, at least so far. Maybe the story picks up on SmackDown and over the next few weeks leading into Clash in Paris, but still, it feels like wasted time. WrestleMania 41 is meaningless. Cody Rhodes walked into Mania 41 as champ, and he's champ right now. John Cena's heel turn was wasted, and we just got it confirmed. He randomly turns face on a random episode of SmackDown. We move on from that. He fights Cody Rhodes. The match was amazing, absolutely incredible. I love the match, but why is Cody Rhodes winning a title back? He's taking back a title that never lost, yeah, which we're going to talk about Rhianna Ripley later in this video. Goodness gracious. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? The deal is this. Everything that happened at Mania 41 doesn't matter. Roman Reigns lost and then didn't show up for 4 months. Then he showed up and had a meaningless tag match. We have to talk about the meaningless matches that are thrown together. Nothing that you saw at WrestleMania 41, in long story short, has carried over to now. What matters from Mania 41? What was great at Mania 41? What actually mattered going forward? What has any longevity that's actually giving you quality storylines and quality interest and intrigue the rest of the year? Nothing. There's no story, intrigue, or hyper interest in any of the stuff that is taking place inside of this company. I don't give a crap about this Raw episode. Sheamus and Rusev brawl for the 50th time. Fun moments, but nobody cares. LA Knight comes out to challenge Rollins to a match, and then he goes on to not even lose the match. It just ends in a DQ. This is stupid booking. I don't give a crap if Roman Reigns, who is one of the most disrespected WWE superstars of all time, how many times is Roman Reigns going to come out and get jobbed out? He is one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. He just carried your company for years. And you mean to tell me that even with him still being the biggest draw and him just coming off the greatest reign ever, arguably in the history of WWE, or one of the best reigns at the bare minimum, and you're telling me that the best you can offer for this dude is every time he shows up, which isn't much, is for him to get jobbed out? And now what's going to happen from this? A random, thrown together tag match just like we had Cody and Roman at Bad Blood last year for no reason. OG Bloodline with CM Punk versus New Bloodline at Survivor Series for no reason. It furthered nothing. We then proceeded to get a meaningless triple threat match with Roman, Rollins, and Punk. That story wasn't, necessary, good enough to make a triple threat match necessary between the three over Paul Heyman's favor. Will Paul Heyman side with Rollins, Roman, or Punk, man? Yeah! Stop! I don't give a crap about any of this garbage, man. This show sucks. I don't give a crap, bro. What, Roman and Knight and Punk are going to team up to fight Rollins and Brunson and Braun Breaker, LeBron James? Wow, man, that's epic. What do these matches do? We just watched Roman and Jey Uso fight Brunson and Braun Breaker for nothing at SummerSlam, and it's gone nowhere. They won that match just to come out, and Roman Reigns gets jobbed out. And then you also factor in, of course, Jey Uso. This is the thing. This Rollins faction, guys, I'm telling you, is killing this company. Seth Rollins, you guys know he's one of my favorite wrestlers, but he, in this faction, and the booking of it by Triple Fraud, is ruining this company. It is. Nobody cares about anything that happens on Raw. Every week ends the same. You beat them up, the faction comes out, they beat people up, and they beat people up, and they beat people up. There's no story, there's no drama, there's no intrigue, there's no nuance, there's no creativity, there's no elite engaging promos. None of it. It's just segment, brawl, DQ. That's all it is. The only one of those people in that faction that's ever going to get pinned in the near future is going to be Bronson Reed. And it's as simple as that. So I've completely given up on this faction. I've already been given up since it started after WrestleMania 41. But this is just unwatchable, man. No one can actually convince me that this stuff is watchable anymore. It just isn't. You have to shut it off in advance or you will not be able to make it through. And it is as simple as that. Okay, we've seen, we literally, because I'm going to keep going on this. I don't give a crap, bro. This Raw episode is forgettable, and we're going to break it down still, of course. But before I get into that, I just want to keep on talking about this for a second. We have seen, like, at least 8 different people brawl with this Rollins faction. We saw Penta and Sami Zayn literally came out during Night of Champions to help, to help the situation with CM Punk. CM Punk's also in the mix. Roman Reigns is in the mix. That's 4. Jey Uso is in the mix, okay? That is 5 people alone that are in the mix, not including LA Knight. That's now 6 people who are in the mix. 6 different people. And you're telling me that this faction with Rollins came out tonight and only 3 people showed up out of that 6. It is the dumbest booking ever. You showed us 6 people fighting against them, and now only 3 of them magically can only fight. Where was Jey Uso? Some cars going outside my house. I don't know what that was. You know what I'm saying? But still, you show us Jey Uso on Saturday. He was just fighting them, and now he's not showing up 2 days later? What is the logic on that? Penta, a few weeks ago, literally up until Saturday Night Main Event, they were feuding with this faction. Sami Zayn, the same thing. And now they just disappear and move on like nothing happened. They act like they were never involved. The booking sucks. And how many times does LA Knight have to get jobbed out? How many times? This guy is world championship material, and everyone knows it except for Triple Fraud. Literally everyone knows this already. And he is booked like a jobber. He either loses, the match gets called off, it's a DQ, he can't win the big one. It is absolutely unbearable. And I am done watching these shows minute by minute. We're done with that. I don't do it often anyways. You know what I'm saying? I never do it anymore, to be honest with you. But now, I'm maybe watching the first couple segments of the shows on average, and I'm shutting it off. It's impossible. I'm not watching this garbage. I'm sorry, man. I give up with this trash. This stuff is garbage, bro. It's trash. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to get the reviews because I'll just watch the highlights or the segments quickly on Twitter or YouTube or something like that. But watching these shows, sitting down and watching these intently, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is done until further notice of these shows becoming good. It's as simple as that. And the stupidest thing about all of this is that in this specific scenario, we literally saw Roman, Jey, and CM Punk and Sami Zayn, who were feuding with this Rollins faction. We just saw them team up 8 months ago at Survivor Series. Or 9 months ago, whatever it was. So it makes no sense how they can't just team up again and add Penta and LA Knight on the crew in order to help them beat up this new faction. If the faction is truly ruining everything, okay, and they're going for absolute power, then just destroy them. Why do you think that in the Raw, the reason the Bloodline made sense is because you had the Usos to single-handedly take people out here and there. You brought in Solo along the way, so you had, 4 people total, and then Sami Zayn was like, you had 5 people at a point fighting off against all these people coming at you. That's why the Bloodline actually made sense. And obviously with Roman being the top guy, obviously he was going to be the most dominant, so he's winning his championship matches and retaining his matches. That is how a faction or a team or an actual amazing storyline and saga is supposed to unfold. Not like this where you brawl every week with 3 jobbers in the ring who aren't believable in their roles, and then all of a sudden, we just are supposed to believe that the 6 people they're fighting against just randomly couldn't show up for work that day. Stop. I'm also going to reference one more thing as well before we get into this review. The World Championship in WWE has had 6 to 7 championship reigns over the last few years since Rollins was the inaugural champion in this current modern day era, okay? You had Rollins held it, he's holding it now. Gunther held it, Gunther was just holding it before Rollins. Jey Uso held it, Damian Priest held it, and Drew McIntyre and CM Punk held it for 4 minutes or 5 minutes each. This title has no prestige because the same people are holding it and nothing is actually developing with the championship, man. I don't want to see the same people over and over and over again. If Rhea Ripley isn't the champion, she's fighting for the title. If Seth Rollins isn't the champion, he's fighting for the title. If Cody Rhodes isn't the champion, he's cutting bad promos with or without the belt and then proceeding to win the title back again. It is boring. The favoritism. You don't let any stars grow. It's as simple as that. The fact that the world title has been around for a few years now and you've had 6 or 7 reigns and 4 of them have been from the same people. What is there to say about that, bro? That shows me that you're not building new stars. Every single new star that you could possibly have that could be a main superstar gets buried. Drew McIntyre, buried. LA Knight, buried. Logan Paul, buried. Dominic Mysterio, buried. He does nothing with that belt. He's having one of the worst IC reigns ever. Carmelo Hayes, catering. Braun Breaker, jobbing out consistently. This dude gets random power-up buffs in matches and then randomly doesn't win any matches. He just lost on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? It's what are we talking about? Trick Williams is still in NXT at 30 years old to do what? But Rollins is telling me he's the future of the industry at 40 years old? What about this? Nothing about this makes sense, and this faction is ruining this company. I'm going to make another video on this tomorrow, probably. I may not even need to at this point, but I'm going to make another video about this at some point this week because this faction is killing WWE. It's as simple as that. We're seeing it in front of our face. The faction sucks. It makes no sense. It has no chemistry. None of the people have any chemistry with each other. They really don't. It's not like the Bloodline, because here's the differentiating factor. The Bloodline would go out there with Roman Reigns and the Usos. Roman Reigns would actually have actual gravitas of a main company star, the biggest star in all of pro wrestling, like he was and like he is currently. He would go out there, he would cut a great promo. Then Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns actually had chemistry, and Heyman had chemistry with the Usos, so it was investing you in the whole story arc and the narrative of what they were talking about on the mic when they were out there. You can find multiple, 30 minutes to an hour compilation of the Bloodline segments just being absolutely incredible. WWE has like an hour or 2 hour compilation of how amazing the Bloodline was. Just epic moments, amazing stories, amazing matches, epic promos, memorable moments, funny moments, what I'm saying? Some great emotional, some nuance, some creativity, some acting. That is what a good faction, that's not even a faction, that's a bloodline. That's how special they were. But you watch this faction, it's a makeshift Temu bloodline. They obviously, Triple H wants to make Rollins be the big dude now and all this stuff, but it doesn't work. Every time Rollins has been given the leads to be the main guy, the show becomes boring and viewers tune out. And that's exactly what you're getting right now, because no one wants to watch Seth Rollins in the main event spot. No one wants to see Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker right now because they're not developed. They're not believable in these roles. Stop comparing them to Evolution. I don't see a Ric Flair. I don't see a Triple H. I don't see a Randy Orton. I don't see a Batista. You know what I'm saying? Batista would destroy all these dudes in 10 seconds. So stop. It's not believable, man. The Bloodline had nuance. It had all the great elements that a team should bring you, that a storyline should bring you. This faction is built off of nonsensical garbage booking, and that's why a house built on a weak foundation will fall. And that's why this faction fell a couple weeks after it was created, because it's not good enough, and it's unacceptable that we get this every single week. It just is. So that's my massive rant on what is happening here. Okay, this is just absolute garbage, and I don't know what else to say about it. This is the end. This is the end. You are watching the end of WWE as you know it. Roman Reigns is consistently getting jobbed out. Okay, John Cena is retiring soon. CM Punk is going to retire within the next couple years. Same with Randy Orton. Same with Brock Lesnar. Same with Seth Rollins probably in a few years as well. He said it himself. He's got like 3 or 4 years probably. We are on the decline, and it is going to be over, because any new star that has any potential to be great, like a Montez Ford, all the people I named earlier, like Drew, Knight, Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, etc., they get nothing. And because of that, you get what you get now. And now we're going to blow through all these Raw segments, because this Raw was forgettable and bland and boring, and the main event was garbage. The show started off with Paul Heyman coming out and calling himself the GOAT. He then introduces Rollins as the new undisputed champ and says normally he'd be introducing the OTC, the tribal chief as the reigning defending undisputed champion. But now he's introducing Rollins and yada, yada, yada. I don't give a crap. We move on. We get boring and odd, just awkward chemistry with these 4 jobbers in the ring. There's no real energy here. The crowd's not that into it. You can really tell week after week. And then, of course, no one stopping Rollins from cashing in makes no sense. Rollins talking about some shame on you guys for not believing in me and for doubting me. Bro, you're wearing the number 2 championship. The number 1 title is still on SmackDown, and Cody Rhodes is the one who had it, and Cena had it before him, and Roman had it before Cody had it before Cena. So it's like this. Just stop the nonsense. This world title means nothing to me. Damian Priest and Gunther and Jey Uso, you're using the belt that they held, and you're trying to convince me that this belt is prestigious. Just think about that for a second, and just think about that. Let's move on from this segment. We don't even need to talk about this. Rollins calls his new faction the Vision. I'll finish up and talk about this. He calls his new faction the Vision and says that, what's it called? They have absolute power now, which, like I mentioned, makes no sense. But anyways, LA Knight then comes out. He says he wanted to hurt Seth Rollins, and he wanted to take that belt too. Adam Pearce then comes out and makes a match, which makes sense, obviously, because Rollins faked the injury in storyline, and that's basically it, okay? Then we move on. We get Sheamus and Rusev brawling. Do you care about this? Like, be honest. Do you actually care about this? Because I know I don't. So it was a fun little segment. They brought in the audience for a second and then kind of ran around the ring and they talked trash, and that was it. We then get Xavier Woods and Big G, bro. Xavier Woods, Big G, and Kofi, man, the New Day and Big G. This is actually kind of a funny little deal they had for like 15 minutes out of the show. Just making jokes. Xavier Woods was referring to him and Kofi as chocolate decadence, which I thought was pretty funny. I'm going to probably start using that going forward. Just really funny stuff. Grayson Waller ended up having a decent match with Penta a little bit later. Obviously, Grayson Waller lost, but it had some decent, sequences and moments in there, so it was pretty cool. I liked it, kind of. And after the match, Penta kind of brawls with them and hits a big flip after wearing some hat and doing his little smooth operator dance thing that he does. I found some of this stuff to be corny, but some of it was actually pretty entertaining and made me laugh. So this whole little sequence in the show I thought was mildly entertaining. I laughed. I thought it was cool. This whole Big G thing, they can actually build this into either a really good comedy bit or try and make it serious. But whatever they choose, there's definitely some type of comedic or entertainment value with these three. It's actually kind of funny. It kind of works in my opinion. So that's that. Also, apparently Naomi had some segment that was cut off of the live show, the live stream for Netflix for Raw. Apparently what happened is it was just like her talking to the crowd, cutting a live mic promo, but they basically showed it during the commercial break for international fans, I guess, and that was basically it. I didn't see it, so I don't know what to say about it. I don't care. It is what it is. The fact that Naomi is the world champion and this is the respect she gets by not even getting a live mic promo on the show just lets you know a lot. I mean, we can get time for 15 different El Grande Americanos to come out, but we don't have time for our women's world champion to build storylines, so whatever. Then we move on. We basically have a really corny and cringe promo with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Charlotte and Alexa Bliss are trying to finish each other's sentences, and it's kind of cringy and corny and choreographed. Very awkward. Charlotte Flair then basically says that her and Alexa are going to kick Roxanne and Raquel's A-words. They literally said A-words, like the actual phrase A-word. You know what I'm saying? They're going to kick their A-words, and, what's it called? Alexa Bliss is talking about saying the F-word, which is friendship or whatever, friends, and that's it. The match then started. It had some botches. You could hear the comms from the ref telling them what to do at certain moments. It was very sloppy, but obviously Roxanne Perez, again, she's supposed to be the next up-and-coming star, the prodigy, and she's gotten pinned a billion times this year, it feels like, and it probably is true, to be honest with you. So it is what it is. I don't know why we just got this match at SummerSlam if we're just going to get a rematch a few days later, but again, like I said, SummerSlam was full of Raw and SmackDown matches, and this proved it. We then get Dominic Mysterio versus Dragon Lee. I'm not wasting my time talking about this match. Dragon Lee lost, obviously, because 5 different El Grande Americanos got involved. Dominic, won the match, and that's it. Nobody cares. Then Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella come out, okay? This promo was actually mildly entertaining. I mean, for the most part, it was pretty average level stuff until Becky Lynch took a shot at Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella basically says that, Becky, we believe in your husband's lies, but we don't believe in your lies. And the crowd goes, oh, and then she says, Becky Lynch is told by Nikki Bella says, you're still a weak, insecure loser, you know what I'm saying, who's just jealous of the success of the current woman, which I thought was a decent point. It plays into the whole, narrative around Becky Lynch and all that stuff. And then Becky Lynch basically says, don't bring up me and my hot husband because we're the best wrestling couple of all time. And, that would have been you and then she pauses and the crowd goes, oh, and then she says, that would have been you and, oh, wait, you can't see him anymore. Obviously referring to John Cena and, Nikki Bella's breakup. And the crowd just gets a massive pop of, oh, no, she did. Oh, no, she did. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically that. However, after this happens, Nikki Bella basically says, well, this isn't your division anymore, so why don't you come and test me with, for the Intercontinental Championship in a one-on-one. Becky then sucker punches her, walks away, holds the belt, and then it's revealed that she's going to fight Maxine Dupree next week for nothing. So there you have it. I don't really know what to say about this. I mean, there was some decent moments in the segment, obviously, but it's the same low-hanging fruit. When the woman in the ring, they talk about each other's husbands, and that's basically it. I don't I don't know what else to say about this, so whatever. We then move on. We get the main event. This main event had the most anticlimactic ending ever. You know what I'm saying? We all were expecting either because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I genuinely expected LA Knight to win this match because at the end of the day, I thought Rollins was legitimately injured, which it still looks like he is still hobbling a little bit. He doesn't look 100%. But the fact is that, listen, I thought LA Knight at this point, you're giving him another world championship shot, which it's not like he's had many. He's only had 2 or 3 in his whole career, it feels like. But I think it is that, actually. He had the Royal Rumble match, the Crown Jewel match versus Roman, and then he had this one tonight. So he's only had probably 3 or 4 max in his career so far. But still, you can't keep giving a guy that's this over and this good this many shots and not give him anything. And so at this point, I was like, man, they have to give it to him at this point. Maybe Rollins is actually injured, so LA Knight will win off of that. And I was thinking maybe Roman and Punk would show up to help him win. But of course, it's just the same stuff. We've seen Punk and Rollins brawling for a year now. We've seen Roman and involved with these brawls with Rollins and his team now for months. It's not like, dude, can we please move on from this? I've had enough of this absolute garbage and repetitive booking. There's no substance to any of this. There's no hype. There's no interest in any of this garbage. And I can't take it any longer, bro. LA Knight should be a world champion. There's no reason why Damian Priest should have had a reign, or Jey Uso got a reign, or what's his name, Gunther got 2 reigns, Rollins had 2 reigns. In the last couple of years, you're telling me that Seth Rollins is worthy of having 2 world championship reigns, bro? Like, come on, man. It's so stupid. I don't understand it. This match ends with CM Punk brawling with Rollins, and it ends in a DQ because Rollins was about a curb stomp Knight on the outside. The ref is just mysteriously not counting at all, I guess. I don't know what that was. He didn't count at all while they were outside the ring, but whatever. And then obviously, they roll Punk and Knight in the ring, and then, they both get curb stomped. Roman Reigns comes out. He gets beat up. I mean, that's it. I don't know, what else to say about this, man. We've seen this before. There's nothing interesting or engaging or exciting about this, and it doesn't make any sense. Braun Breaker got pinned by Sami Zayn a year ago. Not even. Jey Uso, the same thing. Not even a year ago. He was just getting pinned by these dudes. He's lost the Intercontinental Championship Fatal 4-Way this year. He lost a tag match a few days ago, but now Braun Breaker is apparently just some legend. It's just, dude, I've had enough of this show. This Raw episode, even though I had a couple things that I thought were good or just well executed or at least entertained me a bit, other than that, I don't have anything to say about this, man. This show's getting a 2 out of 10, and this Raw is official proof that WWE is dead. And it's as simple as that. I don't know what else there is to say about this. Rollins stands tall with his faction. Brunson Reed takes Roman's shoes. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You don't care. I don't care. Nobody cares. Why do you think millions of people are tuning out every week? You know what I'm saying? It's just, listen, whatever at this point. This Raw was absolute garbage, and it exposed everything wrong with this company right now. Bad matches, repetitive matches, no creative nuance or effort put into storytelling. The same repetitive matches in segments, obviously. And of course, there's no intrigue. There's no concurrent storyline or throughline that's actually engaging and well thought out and well developed, so you don't care about any of the main event level stuff happening on either show right now. It's just, I don't know what to say. I don't know how this can be defended. I don't get it. But you know what? Hey, that's not my job to decide. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like it. That's my take on it. I'm always going to give you guys my honest opinion on what's happening. And what I think right now is that this company, for a long time now, for the last year basically, has been absolute and utter garbage. 1 or 2 out of 10 episode. I give it a 2 out of 10 just to be slightly generous. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out and one love, man.